looking very healthy and very well, and I'm happy you're with us today.
I'm lucky to be with you today.
Yeah, you
it's like
really...
a 50-50 shot at survival there, you know?
For years, Deadliest Catch has thrilled viewers with its raw portrayal of danger, grit, and survival on the high seas. But behind the adrenaline and icy waves, something far more terrifying was uncovered. Something so disturbing, it brought production to an abrupt halt. This wasn't just a minor setback. It was a horrifying discovery that shook the entire crew and sent shockwaves through the industry.
I don't understand why it hurts so much right here.
It's addiction and it's drug use.
What happened at sea was beyond anyone's imagination, forcing everyone to ask, what nightmare truth ended the show so suddenly? Let's dig deep. The sea, the storm, and a captain's last voyage. Season 21 of Deadliest Catch wrapped up on October 31st with one of the most emotional and nerve-wracking moments in the show's history. Legendary Captain Sig Hansen, now 59, was suddenly rushed to the hospital after collapsing on board, a terrifying scene that left both his crew and fans shaken. The cause? Sheer exhaustion, years of punishing labor at sea, and the toll of a life spent battling the world's roughest waters. When the doctor urged him to consider retirement, it struck a chord that even Sig couldn't ignore. After decades of denying the idea, the thought of hanging up his captain's hat now feels more real than ever. "I'm a fisherman," he quips with his signature wit. "You're talking to a professional liar here. I lie for a living." He laughs, but there's a trace of truth behind the humor. Beneath the jokes, he admits the years are catching up. "I still think I've got a few more years left in me," he says, "but I think about it all the time now. When you've lost so many people to the sea, it changes you. Every trip gets a little scarier, and you can't help but think about your own mortality." Sig Hansen has survived 2 heart attacks in recent years, yet he keeps pushing forward. Still, he admits that his priorities have shifted. Once obsessed with the thrill of the chase and the pride of commanding his vessel, Hansen now finds himself drawn to something much deeper. His family. "I don't have the same mentality I did before, where every challenge was something I had to conquer," he reflects. "I've already done it all. Now, I just want time with my wife, June. She sacrificed so much for me, decades of waiting while I was out there on the ocean. It's time I give something back." Retirement, he concedes, is no longer an if, but a when. And that thought doesn't scare him anymore, it even warms him. With 4 grandchildren, Hansen has joined the ranks of the proud, sentimental grandpas he once teased. "I used to laugh at those old guys who couldn't stop talking about their grandkids," he says, grinning. "I'd be like, 'Come on, can't we talk about fishing?' Now, I am that guy. I can't help it. I love it." Sig's legacy is already secured. He became Alaska's youngest captain at just 22 and went on to build a reputation as one of the most daring and determined fishermen the Bering Sea has ever seen. Now, he's watching the next generation rise. His 30-year-old daughter, Mandy, who took command of her own vessel this season. Her confidence and skill filled him with pride. "She's got the right attitude. A real go-getter," he says proudly. "If she wants to take over someday, or even if her husband Clark does, he's doing a great job too. I'd be fine with it. But I also know Mandy has other dreams, and I'm proud of that too." Indeed, Mandy is carving her own path beyond the waves. She's ventured into real estate, buying a marina complete with houseboats that she and Clark now manage together. a modern twist on the Hansen family's maritime legacy. As Sig reflects on his life, the storms weathered, the friends lost, the family that waited, he speaks with a calm acceptance. The sea made him who he is, but now it's his family that gives him purpose. Whether or not he returns for another season, one thing is clear. Captain Sig Hansen may one day retire from the sea, but the sea will never retire from him. But what is Deadliest Catch all about? How and when did it begin? Let's delve into the details of the sea that hosts the most daring TV show, The Perilous Allure of the Bering Sea. The Bering Sea, vast, frigid, and fiercely untamed, isn't just another patch of ocean. It's a beast disguised as beauty, a stretch of icy wilderness that lures the bold and breaks the weak. For decades, this unforgiving expanse between Alaska and Russia has been a magnet for adventurers, dreamers, and those willing to gamble everything for a shot at fortune. But beneath its glittering waves lies something darker, a silent menace that has swallowed ships whole and claimed more lives than most care to count. It's no wonder the Bering Sea has earned its infamous title as one of the deadliest places on Earth. This is the realm of Deadliest Catch, Discovery Channel's iconic reality series that pulls viewers straight into the heart of chaos, documenting the raw, perilous lives of Alaskan crab fishermen. But what audiences see on screen only scratches the surface. Behind every dramatic rescue, every storm-tossed deck, lies an unrelenting battle with nature, a contest of strength, endurance, and sheer willpower, where one wrong move could mean disaster. Take Captain Rick Shelford, for instance. Like generations of fishermen before him, he braves these lethal waters chasing a fortune, 25,000 pounds of prized crab. But for him and his crew, the Bering Sea is no adventure. It's survival. Out here, the wind screams like a living thing, the waves tower stories high, and the cold seeps so deep it burns. A sudden storm can rise from nowhere, and a single rogue wave can split a steel-hulled boat in two. Even veterans like the legendary Wild Bill Witrowski have faced nights where skill and experience meant little against the ocean's wrath. Crab fishing itself is a dance with death. To earn their payday, crews must drop heavy metal pots deep into the freezing black abyss, then haul them back, each weighing hundreds of pounds, slick with ice, and threatening to crush anyone who loses focus. The sea shows no mercy. Decks turn into skating rinks. The air cuts like knives, and exhaustion stalks every man on board. A single slip, a snapped line, or a moment's distraction can end a life in seconds. The rewards are enormous, but so is the price. Over the years, the Bering Sea has become both stage and executioner, a theater of courage, heartbreak, and unrelenting danger. Viewers have watched storms so violent they make mountains of water crash down like hammer blows. They've seen men vanish into the icy depths and others rise again, battered but unbroken. There's a strange, haunting beauty to it all, a kind of poetry in the peril. And yet, for those who call these waters home, it's more than just a job. The fishermen of Deadliest Catch are bound to the sea in a way few outsiders can understand. The hiss of the wind, the crack of ice, the smell of salt and diesel, it's in their blood. The Bering Sea may be merciless, but it's also magnetic. It draws them back again and again, with the promise of both ruin and reward. It is, at once, their greatest enemy and their truest companion. But beneath its howling winds and glittering surface, whispers linger, of curses, of a toll that must always be paid. Over 20 seasons of Deadliest Catch, tragedy has struck again and again. Boats lost, lives cut short, dreams drowned in icy silence. To some, these are coincidences born of risk. To others, it feels like something more sinister. A reminder that the sea never gives without taking. The Bering Sea, for all its majesty, is not just water and waves. It is alive. It tests men, breaks them, and sometimes swallows them whole. And that is what makes Deadliest Catch more than a show. It's a living testament to human endurance, to the fragile line between triumph and tragedy, and to the eternal truth that the sea always wins in the end. How has it been working on the Sei for decades? How have they sustained the viewership of their audience? Have there been casualties? Let's dive into the details of the trials of the sea, triumph, tragedy, and the curse of the sea. Deadliest Catch debuted on April 12, 2005, capturing the imaginations of millions worldwide. The premise was simple yet compelling. Follow the lives of crab fishermen as they risk everything to harvest king and snow crabs in one of the world's most dangerous seas. What followed, however, was far more than a reality show. It became a saga of human endurance, courage, and often tragedy. For every triumphant haul, there were stories of loss. Take Dean Gribble Jr., a fleeting presence on the show whose dreams of fame collided with the harsh reality of the Bering Sea. On December 31, 2019, Gribble and his crewmates set out aboard the Skabdis Rose for a routine crab fishing expedition. What began as a day full of hope quickly transformed into nightmare. The vessel collided with floating ice, puncturing its hull, and sank almost immediately. 7 men were aboard that day. Only Gribble and John Lawler survived. Airlifted to safety, suffering from hypothermia, the experience left scars that went beyond the physical. Gribble's brush with death is emblematic of the Bering Sea's merciless nature. A reminder that, no matter how skilled, fishermen are always at the mercy of forces far beyond their control. Yet tragedy on Deadliest Catch wasn't confined to the sea. Over the years, the show has seen deaths from substance abuse, health crises, and even criminal entanglements. Some have dubbed this the curse of the Bering Sea, a sinister undercurrent haunting those who dare its waters. Joshua Tell Warner, for instance, combined the life of a reality TV fisherman with the audacity of a criminal mastermind. Debuting in Season 5, Warner spent part of the season aboard The Wizard. While on land, he conducted multiple bank robberies in Oregon, returning to the sea in between heists as if nothing had happened. Warner was eventually caught and sentenced to 9 years in prison, disappearing from the show entirely. Wild Bill Witrowski, another fan favorite, illustrates the thin line between bravery and peril. Known for his skill and quick thinking, Witrowski survived countless storms and near-death encounters, earning a reputation as nearly invincible, yet even he couldn't escape life's challenges. Diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2023, he faced a battle more personal and invisible than any ocean storm. Refusing to let illness define him, Witrowski persevered, proving that survival in the Bering Sea requires not just skill, but unbreakable will. Then there's Scott Campbell Jr., whose journey on the Seabrook was equally compelling. Born to a fishing family, Campbell Jr. was practically raised on the ocean. But chronic back pain, coupled with the brutal conditions of the sea, forced him to step back, demonstrating how the show didn't just test mental resilience, it taxed the body in ways few could endure. Campbell's story reflects the broader human toll behind the spectacle. Exhaustion, injury, and the constant threat of life-altering incidents were everyday realities for the fishermen. Despite the danger, the cast returned season after season. Their resilience, courage, and sometimes reckless determination became a hallmark of the show, drawing viewers not merely to watch, but to empathize with lives lived on the edge. Yet, as the tragedies mounted, questions arose. Was the show's continuation worth the risks? With the lives of men and women perpetually in jeopardy, the Bering Sea became not just a setting, but a character. Capricious, unforgiving, and terrifyingly alive. What does it take to bring the show live on TV? What do they need, apart from settling the bills, to go live? Let's find out the human cost behind the camera. Deadliest Catch wasn't just another reality show. It was a brutal, beautiful glimpse into one of the world's most unforgiving professions. While audiences were drawn to the roaring waves, high-stakes drama, and rugged heroism on screen, few grasped the true price paid by those aboard the fishing vessels. These weren't actors chasing fame. They were real men and women risking everything: health, sanity, even life itself, just to haul crab from the icy depths of the Bering Sea. Every episode was a blend of triumph and torment. The victories, pulling in a record haul or surviving a storm, were exhilarating. But the suffering was just as real. Fatigue, injuries, and the endless cold were constant companions. Imagine spending months at sea in freezing temperatures, battling waves that could swallow ships whole, with no sight of land and little sleep. The body aches, the hands go numb, and the mind begins to fray. For some, it became too much to bear. Sig Hansen, one of the show's most iconic captains, learned this firsthand when he suffered a heart attack at sea in 2018. His near-death experience was a stark reminder that even the toughest could fall. Others faced frostbite, hypothermia, and chronic pain that lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. But the physical pain was only part of the story. The mental toll was crushing. Endless isolation, the fear of failure, and the unpredictability of the ocean created a pressure few could handle. The Bering Sea didn't just test skill, it tested sanity. The series also revealed how fragile life could be in this line of work. Fishermen like Dean Gribble Jr. narrowly escaped death when their boat capsized, while others weren't so lucky. Addiction, depression, and tragedy became recurring themes, painting a haunting picture of how the curse of the Bering Sea wasn't just legend. It was a lived reality. No amount of experience or courage could fully protect them from nature's wrath. Yet amid all this chaos, the human spirit burned bright. Captains like Wild Bill Witrowski and Scott Campbell Jr. returned to the sea despite near-fatal injuries or illness. Their determination wasn't driven by greed. It came from love. Love for the ocean, for the tradition passed down through generations, for the sense of purpose found only in those brutal waters. Crab fishing, for them, wasn't a job. It was identity. It was legacy. Their resilience became the soul of Deadliest Catch. Viewers witnessed what true courage looks like. Not the glamorous kind seen in movies, but the kind forged through pain and perseverance. These men showed that survival isn't about brute strength alone. It takes intellect, adaptability, and an unshakable will to face danger every day and still go back for more. Beyond the physical and emotional tolls, the show also confronted deeper moral questions. As crab numbers dwindled and environmental regulations tightened, crews had to make difficult choices. How far should they push against nature's limits? How do you balance survival with sustainability? Deadliest Catch evolved from being just an adrenaline-fueled adventure to a story of conscience, of people torn between livelihood and the planet that sustains them. In the end, the series offered more than entertainment. It offered truth. It revealed humanity at its rawest, ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances, dancing on the razor's edge between life and death. It reminded viewers that real bravery isn't polished or easy. It's messy, painful, and often terrifying. And in that raw honesty lies the heart of Deadliest Catch, a story of endurance, sacrifice, and the timeless bond between human and sea, while Sig Hansen rounds off his last voyage. What legacy has he laid for the industry? Is there a match for his bravery? Let's dig into the details of the bravery that defined Deadliest Catch in the past decades. The end of an era and the legacy of bravery. For 20 unforgettable seasons, Deadliest Catch gripped audiences across the world with tales of courage, chaos, and the raw battle between man and nature. Week after week, viewers tuned in to witness crews brave towering waves, freezing winds, and life-or-death moments aboard the crab boats of the Bering Sea. It wasn't just a show. It was an odyssey of endurance, grit, and survival. But now, that journey stands on the brink of ending. Not because people stopped watching or caring, but because reality itself has shifted in ways no camera can control. The reason behind the show's possible cancellation, or indefinite pause, runs deeper than television trends. Climate change has quietly rewritten the rules of the sea. Rising temperatures and shifting currents have disrupted crab populations. Once so abundant, they seemed endless. The Bering Sea, once the beating heart of the series, has become unpredictable and unforgiving. With crab numbers plummeting, the government has enforced stricter quotas and temporary bans to protect what's left. These changes, though necessary for conservation, have left many captains docked, their livelihoods in jeopardy. Then there's the toll on the people themselves. The danger that once drew audiences in, the icy decks, the near misses, the howling storms, has left lasting scars on the very men who made the show legendary. Years of battling exhaustion, injury, and loss have pushed even the toughest veterans close to breaking. Health problems, emotional burnout, and mounting financial pressure from costly repairs and fuel have made the work nearly impossible to sustain. In truth, ending the show might not just save lives, it might honor them. Figures like Captain Sig Hansen, Wild Bill Wickrowski, and Scott Campbell Jr. have become icons, their names etched into maritime legend. Viewers watched them lead their crews through nights of terror and triumph, each season a test of nerve and faith. They stood as living symbols of resilience, but even legends have limits. Their struggles remind us that bravery is not endless, and that behind every dramatic catch lies exhaustion, sacrifice, and sometimes tragedy. Yet, Deadliest Catch was never just about danger. It was about humanity. Beyond the icy waters and mechanical mayhem were moments of laughter, brotherhood, and shared grief. We saw families torn apart and bonded again, sons trying to live up to their fathers' legacies, and captains guiding greenhorns through storms both literal and emotional. The show captured something profoundly universal: the will to keep going when everything in you says to stop. The Bering Sea has taken much from those who dared to fish its depths, but it has also given something precious in return. Stories that will outlive the storm's deadliest catch taught millions about the fragile balance between courage and caution, ambition and survival. It revealed that the real treasure wasn't the crab hauled aboard, but the human spirit displayed in every soaked face and trembling hand. So even if the engines fall silent and the cameras stop rolling, the show's essence will endure. Deadliest Catch stands as a monument to resilience, a chronicle of risk, brotherhood, and raw determination. Its message echoes far beyond television. That true courage isn't about the absence of fear, but about steering straight into it, wave after wave. And when future generations look back, they'll remember the men who dared to dance with the sea, who lived on the edge of the world, and who taught us that sometimes the greatest victory is simply surviving the storm. So, do you think Deadliest Catch will survive without Hansen? Is his retirement ripe or long overdue? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.